our science and tech feature for tonight.
And buzzing in sport, Yvonne, all eyes are on Zimbabwe this Tuesday as the Chevrons a win away from the Super 6 berth at the T20 Men's World Cup. Those are our leading stories tonight. We start off with our first report. Zimbabwe is taking the lead in water conservation as modern agriculture depends on reliable water supplies to achieve food self-sufficiency.
Now, President Emmerson Mnangagwa told journalists as he left home from Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, that African leaders discussed water management and other key developmental issues during the 39th Ordinary Session of the African Union Heads of State and Government Summit.
Now, Chief Correspondent Ruben Barre filed our first report tonight.
Yearly, leaders of Africa, 54 countries, congregate in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, the home of the African Union headquarters, to discuss a variety of issues. The President, Comrade Emmerson Mnangagwa, was amongst them. And before he left for Harare, he spoke to journalists of what was accomplished during the 39th African Union Summit.
We accomplished what we had intended to accomplish. And I'm happy that most heads of state attended. And as for Zimbabwe, I had the opportunity of meeting several heads of state, exchanging bilateral relations. And I'm happy that Zimbabwe is regarded very well by the members of the AU. African Union.
You had almost an hour discussion with President Ramaphosa. Where did it center?
Well, it was a discussion between an elder brother and a younger brother. The size of the country did not come into effect. It was a question of age. And so I was talking to my young brother Ramaphosa, and he was taking advantage to say, what wisdom can he get from elder brother? And I was saying, what can I get from the wisdom of the younger generation?
Zimbabwe is one of the most damned countries, and the issue at the AU was about water. What were the issues which came out of issues concerning water on the continent?
Well, Africa's main lifeline is agriculture. And agriculture, modern agriculture, can best be improved through irrigation. And the irrigation depends on damming of water. Zimbabwe has done well in that regard, but it remains a challenge to many African countries to have more land and agriculture, because the issue of weather is not easy to determine whether we are going to have good weather or not. But if you have enough irrigation systems in the country, and the objective is that each country must have enough land and irrigation to safeguard its own food security through irrigation.
You made a pitch on the issue of security on the continent, realizing there are quite a number of hotspots.
Well, this is not a novel situation for Africa. The question of security situation is across the world. But of course, in Africa, I think we are doing better than most continents. In Africa, we have small hotspots here and there, but on the whole, we cooperate in bring about order and supporting each other to bring about security and peace on the continent.
So as you leave for home, what would you say was achieved at this 39th?
Well, every year in, year out, we have this yearly occasion when we come together and share the challenges of the continent. And as you are aware, these challenges can only be debated by the current crop of leaders on the African continent. We are facing these challenges ourselves, but if you look to the generation of the Nyereres and the Kaundas, they had different challenges on the continent. Ours is different. The next generation is different, but we must stand up with the challenges that face our own generation.
Yes, indeed, Africa is the home of all Africans, and it is an opportunity for African leaders to discuss and find solutions to a lot of nagging challenges African people are facing. And the president underscored that there is African solution to African problems. This is the way to go. And the current crop of leaders on the continent is quite convinced that this is the way to go. Ruben Barwe, ZBC News, Addis Ababa, Ethiopia.
Meanwhile, His Excellency President Emmerson Mnangagwa is back home after attending the 39th African Union Summit in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia.
President Emmerson Mnangagwa is back home from Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, where he was attending the 39th session of the African Union Summit. The president was received at the Robert Gabriel Mugabe International Airport by the country's two vice presidents, General retired Dr. Constantino Chiwenga and Colonel retired Dr. Kembo Mohadi. The president was in Addis Ababa since Thursday, and he joined fellow heads of state for the summit, which tackles issues that are affecting the continent. These range from economic issues as well as anything that threatens the peace of the continent. Among the highlights of the summit was the handover of the chairmanship of the African Union from Angola's Joao Lourenço to Burundi's President Evariste Ndayishimiye. While at the summit, President Mnangagwa called for Africa to speak with one voice. He was saying this in light of turmoil that continues to rock some parts of the African continent. The DRC in particular has remained a problematic area with a fight over resources in the eastern parts, and this has been a cause for concern for the African leaders. Over the weekend, the heads of state deliberated on the key issues affecting the continent. Josephine Mugio, ZBC News, Robert Gabriel Mugabe International Airport.
The body of national hero Brigadier General retired Samuel Mpabanga will be taken to his rural home in Gwanda this Monday, where members of the community together with his family will pay their last respects.
Family spokesperson Mr. Lot Mpabanga told the ZBC News that the national hero will first pass through his farm in West Nicholson before being taken to his rural home in Mabati village.
Sawuhambisa ku-Doves eyiyo ezaphatha umsebenzi wonke uze kuyefika eHarare. Yikho amalungiselelo esilawo ukuthi umzimba uzasuka kusasa ekuseni uyedlula eplazini lakhe eWest Nicholson. Sizafika sihlale okwesikhatshana, sisuka eWest siqonde emapate ekhaya eGwanda lapha ezalwa khona imuli yakhe ekhona. Kompaba sizafika sibele emthandazo sihlale khona ngale ntambama osesuka si make sure uzolala simbisele eDoves alale khona. Alala eDoves uchuthi ngelanga elilandelayo singakahambi eHarare sizaba le service esikhethile thina indawo yakhona njengefamily asikayibeka ngako. Nasiqeda lapho sesimthatha simhambisa eBread. Abe Bread yiwo sebeqhubeka sebesihamba la engabi eHarare. Thina abemuli abanye sebehle besuka sebehamba abasukela lapho koBulawayo. Abasuka ekhaya emapate wazasuka ngolosibili ntambama. Sisenzela ukuthi bayifika eHarare ekuseni. Bangafika eHarare ekuseni bahle bangene kumbuthano ozabe sisiya eRoyce Eka.
According to a statement from the Ministry of Home Affairs and Cultural Heritage, the body of the national hero is expected back in Bulawayo on Monday, where it will lie in state before being airlifted to Charles Gumbo Barracks in Harare on Tuesday the 17th. The burial date will be announced in due course. Meanwhile, Zimbabwe's top envoy to Zambia, Ambassador Charity Charamba, has sent her condolences to the family of the late national hero Brigadier General Samuel Mbabanga, describing him as a dedicated cadre who worked tirelessly to strengthen bilateral relations in defense during his tenure as a defense attaché in Zambia between 2016 and 2022. In her statement, Ambassador Charamba noted that the decorated Liberation War hero was instrumental in the management and preservation of Zimbabwe's shrines in Zambia and coordinated visits by numerous stakeholders where the country's heroes and heroines are laid to rest. Brigadier General retired Samuel Mbabanga also fostered relations between the two sisterly republics under the Joint Permanent Commission on Defense and Security. Mhlomoli Ncube, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
Political analysts and members of SANU-PF have welcomed the Constitutional Amendment Bill 3 as a welcome development that will give government room to make meaningful development by reducing the distractions of continuous election cycles.
The analysts and ZANU-PF party members have thrown their weight behind the Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3, saying the piece of legislation is the best foundation for the country's development. Political analyst Mr. Alex Mkwembi says the bill seeks to create room for development by dealing with constant election mode, which is anti-developmental.
Ruzhinji mukatarisa ngatitarisa nyaya yekuti kana ma-MP vazhinji kana vakapinda 2 years unenge uchifamiliariza neground uchidatso kuona kuti ndingabatsira vanhu vangu sei, asi ukazowana dzimwe 5 years pamusoro pasina kudistebwa nenyaya dzema-elections necampaign, munhu anogona kuita zvinhu zvinomusoro panguva yakati rebei. Naizvozvo futi ndinongoona sokuti kana kuri kupresidential term ndinoona sokuti 7 years dzinoita kuti president vaite zvinhu zvinomusoro, especially takananga nevision 2030. Hatigoni kuti tiinterrupte nenyaya yekuti deni taita ma-elections anodisturba.
The ZANU-PF Midlands Youth League Provincial Chairperson, Comrade Ernest Zoro, weighed in saying the president and his team deserve to continue with their development trajectory until 2030.
Tiri kuona amendment ndikuya yakatikoshera isu kunyanya isu sevechidiki and Zimbabweans at large, nekuti iri kuya yakanyanya kubvisa nyaya dzekuti tachanyanya kuramba tiri mu-election mode. Gare taita ma-elections MDC, DIT, Triple C, ZANU-PF and stuff, but tiri kuona isu pakauya Second Republic tiri kuona development yanga ichibatika and tiri kuona zvokuitwa naHis Excellency Baba vaMnangagwa. Saka tiri kuona kuti izvi zvinotipa an ample time yekuti mutungamiri wenyika anogona kuachieva ma-objectives ake panguva yakakodzera. Saka tiri kuti isusu bill tiri kurigamuchira sevechidiki kuno kuMidlands Province kuti Baba vaMnangagwa ngavarambe vachitonga, ngavarambe varipo vachienderera mberi nenyaya yevision 2030.
ZANU-PF Central Committee member Comrade Wellington Magura also spoke on the amendment bill, saying the proposal is beneficial for the country going forward.
The constitutional amendment iri kufanirwa kuitwa yakatikoshera senyika. Tikatarisa nyaya yekuti seZimbabwe takasarira in terms of development. Most of our focus iri kunyaya ma-elections, nyaya yekukukidzana. Apa senyika inoaffecta nyaya unity. Senyika kuti hatikwanisi kubatana kana tiramba tiri mufighting mode yekufaitira zvigaro nevanhu vatiri chiti opposition, yeti isusu tiri kuti all Zimbabweans.
The Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3 also seeks to ensure that legislators select the president as opposed to the current setup where ordinary people elect the head of state and government. Tafara Chikumira, ZBC News, Gweru.
The Ministry of Youth Empowerment, Development and Vocational Training says preparations for the National Youth Day celebrations, which will be held in Mashonaland East Province, are now at an advanced stage.
In less than a week, Zimbabwe will commemorate National Youth Day at Igava Training Center in Mashonaland East. The day is dedicated to empowering youth, fostering their development and acknowledging their role in nation building. In an interview with ZBC News this Sunday, Director of Communications and Advocacy in the Ministry of Youth Empowerment, Development and Vocational Training, Mr. Ranson Madzamba, said preparations are at an advanced stage to host the celebrations.
Preparations are now at higher level, and all I can say is that Mashonaland East Province is actually ready to host the 2026 National Youth Day celebrations to happen in Marondera.
This year's edition of the annual event will be held under the theme Youth Agenda for Transformation, recognizing the role the demographic has to play in shaping the country's economic trajectory.
The youths, they constitute the bulk of our population as a country. So the issue is, once the youths are empowered, the majority are empowered. The youths are there to make sure that the economy of our country is indeed viable. They are the majority, they have got an impact.
Now, President Emmerson Mnangagwa will officially preside over the eGov Training Center event, with youths from all over the country expected to attend. Panasha Nagoli, ZBC News, Harare.
The rehabilitation of Wanezi Dam has placed communities in the Wanezi communal lands on a rural industrialization pathway, as the water source now supports a thriving irrigation scheme, provides portable water to the community, and sustains a fisheries project. Our next report.
A dam is an economy. What about statement from the National Development Strategy 1's Food and Security Cluster aimed at enhancing food self-sufficiency, improving nutrition and building resilience against climate change? Not so long ago, this area was just barren, filled with thorns and bushes, but thanks to the Second Republic's mantra of leaving no one and no place behind, this area has been transformed after government and its development partners established this irrigation scheme, Wanezi irrigation scheme, to climate-proof agriculture. This is after the government and its development partner rehabilitated Wanezi Dam, which led to the establishment of this massive irrigation scheme fitted with modern equipment that has positively impacted on the lives of many here.
Sikhangelela ukuthi nxa kuyikuthi nxa ukuthi kuphume kuhle njengamehlo ethu nje wasibona lathi besikhangele kanti thanzo ngemva kwebhizinesi esidlimile asifaka ngamali esikhwameni ke siyakha insimi yethu.
Hayi impilo zethu ziyatshintsha vele sezilotshintsho ngoba sesikwazi ukuthi sesilima njengokuba ukusilima njengabo abantu abamabhizimusi sesilima njengabantu singasalimeli ukudla kodwa sesilima farming as a business.
Sesingakwanisa ukuthi abantu abethu baye ezikolweni bafunde bangahlali emakhaya. This is
their second crop, and then bathi belimile ibhinzi bathengisa ibhinzi zona lezo bagcina sebethenga lokho elikubonayo. This is a boom spray, and then bathenga futhi le Kuba 3 ilana i3 plow.
Development partner UNDP invested in modern irrigation equipment, that is the procurement of center pivots, rehabilitated Wanezi Dam, and the establishment of this thriving irrigation scheme that has changed many lives here.
A dam must be an economy, and when Wanezi Dam was rehabilitated, the idea was to then make it an economy for this community, and the irrigation scheme is one of those facets of the economy. The water reticulation system into the economy, into the community, the solar powered system, the fisheries in the dam, and the dam itself, making up that component of.
Under the National Development Strategy 1 NDS1, government invested millions into the establishment of irrigation schemes and restoration of those that were defunct, as government tried to climate-proof agriculture through irrigation development. Providence Maranelli, ZBC News, in Caesar.
Tobacco farmers have welcomed the announcement by the Tobacco Industry and Marketing Board that the tobacco marketing season will officially open on the 4th of March, setting the stage for what could be yet another record-breaking year for the country's top agricultural export.
Tobacco farmers are gearing up for the start of the 2026 tobacco marketing season. After last year's record-breaking deliveries, farmers are expecting yet another strong performance. It is a hive of activity in tobacco fields, barns and pack sheds across the country as growers reap, cure and bale their golden leaf in preparation for the opening of the auction floors next month. Growers are racing against time to ensure their crop meets the highest grading standards. At Sachel Farm in Glendale, farmer Ernest Musana says the season has been favorable and is optimistic about strong returns.
Pagore rino ndikutarisira kuti ndichange ndine mari yakati pa 2 hectares dzangu dzandakarima. Nekuda kwokuti mvura zvaya yakaita shoma
asi kune isusu varimi vefodya zvakatotinakirawo nekuti isusu tinokohwa shizha hatikohwe chirimwa. Takatogadzirira zvokuti musi wa4 wacho iwo ndinenge ndirimo mukiwi imo nekuti fodya yatovako yandakapisa.
The tobacco marketing season remains one of the most significant events on Zimbabwe's economic calendar, injecting much-needed foreign currency into the economy and sustaining thousands of households. Tawanda Gunja of Ajura Farm in Concession says the start of sales will restore working capital for many growers who have invested heavily throughout the season.
Mwaka unonga wakanaka zvakanyanya nekuti mvura yakauya zvakanaka. It's only the last 2 weeks but takaita dry spell. We have more than halfway through reaping. Saka tichiri kuripa sefodya yedu yakati wandei but fodya yatokumasheds yakawanda. And also zvinotibatsira kuti maybe kana ikavhurwa tikaomerwa necash flow unombomhanyisawo mamwe mabhero mokwanisa kusustaina.
Last year, Zimbabwe generated 1.17 billion United States dollars from the sale of 353 million kilograms of the golden leaf, the highest output ever recorded, cementing the country's position as a major global producer. Indications on the ground suggest that 2026 could match or even surpass that milestone.
Weather conditions have been favorable to the farmers who are at various stages of reaping and curing their tobacco crop. In a few weeks' time, attention shifts to the auction floors. Tapiwa Machemedze, ZBC News, Mazowe.
From Mazowe to Manicaland province, where the modernization and refurbishment of the Mutare province, the Civil Registry Office has brought relief to the people who used to travel from Marondera and Harare just to acquire e-passports.
Many people used to dread visiting this office due to the inefficiencies associated with the process of acquiring either a passport or a birth certificate or a death certificate. But since the establishment of this new state-of-the-art Civil Registry Office in Mutare, things have changed for the better.
Kare paimboita maqueues asi izvozvi nekuchinja kwaita zvinhu hazvinhu zviri kuchinja zvikuru chaizvo tine kufara apa izvozvi ukandosvika unotora passport anytime nguva dzawangoda hapana line hausweri kumira zvaya zvataimboita kare zvekumbomira panze mombodelayiwa izvozvi zvekundopinda uchitora birth certificate zvese madate achona ari kubuda ipapo ipapo.
Ndaitongondwa kuti tora passport kunonetsa malaini wati zvakawanda zvaingotaurwa asi pandakatoya ndakatoshamsika ndakatoya nyito ndanonoka ndakaya almost 82 ichitoti handanonoka but ndakatosvika kwakutogadzirwa process yacho zvatopera nguva doko doko. Ndaitongonzwa kuti hakune maqueue zvakati but ezvinozvi zvaa much easier kutora passport than kudhara.
Ndinogara kwaHonde uko zvekuti kana dai kwanga kuri kudhara waiona kuti process yacho zvaa zvisingapere 1 day apa iwe unenge wakatosevha mari yekuti musi wacho iwoyo ndiro zviri kubva zvaperera kubva zvatadza because queue vanhu vanenge vakawanda hazviri fast hapana chikumbonetsa zvese zviri kungofamba zvinhu zvakanaka.
Ever since the new Mutare Registry Office opened its door to the public last year in September, more than 30,000 passports have been issued out in line with government's commitment to improve access to vital services.
We are happy the way we are doing because it's now ease of doing business in the civil service. People are working in a conducive environment. And we have moved from the old structures to the new structures, following the president's mantra of leaving no place and no one behind.
This state-of-the-art office is one of the several infrastructure development projects which were implemented under the 100-day cycle initiative in Manicaland province. Geima Tambo, ZBC News, Mutare. ZANU-PF is confident of winning the Chikomba wards 7 and 12 seats as the ruling party gains ground ahead of the by-election set for the 21st of this month.
The ruling ZANU-PF party has launched a campaign to rally support for its candidate, Comrade Pardon Mudzimu, ahead of the Chikomba Ward 12 by-election scheduled for the 21st of this month. Comrade Mudzimu outlined his development vision with the provision of water, road infrastructure development, and fighting drug and substance abuse, as well as improving service delivery among his key areas of focus if elected into office.
I'm promising kuti ndapinda ndamo neexperience handinayo maroads achagadzirwa ese. Mvura yakawandisa, tine 2 dams nandiu, tine Range Dam, tine Chivu Dam, madam ese yakazara kuti pam nemvura. But tichafaita kuti ngakuve nemareserve.
With the by-elections approaching, the ruling party is gaining ground, with the former opposition members joining the ruling party, acknowledging that its policies are progressive.
Pane program empowerment kubva kuma youth enda chironguruvhenza chirori chi pane nyaya yekuempower vanhu. Chechi2 inyaya yekuti musangano wedu wanga wangu mwashuka, hausiri organized. Munhu akafunga kudai udai one ivo vachamisa vacho vaguma vatosiya vanhu some 2 years ago.
Northwood isebhabhu yakaestablished 1996 yanga isina roads network. Road dzaive dzirimo ndedzevanhu vaivaka dzimba dzavo vachitakura zvitinda kuenda padzimba dzavo. Vakatozoziva kuti kune maroads network tapuwa neERP2.
Chikomba West legislator Honorable Tatenda Mavetera says the massive infrastructure developments being realized under the Second Republic is a trump card for the ruling party to secure victory.
Kukushandizana kwatiri kuita kudaro ndikuona kana Mugare Stadium ndotenda mazviona kuti Mugare Stadium mafura neko mukaona kuti Mugare Stadium yakapera. Ndira kuitende zvakare mafura zvakare neku-ED secondary school yedu iri kuvakwa iva nemabhuloku maviri.
The ZANU-PF Mashonaland East chairperson Comrade Daniel Garwe rallied support for the party candidate Comrade Mudzimu.
Hakuna anotiramidza kuamenda constitution yedu nekuti ndendu. Hakuna mutemo unotisamende constitution nekuti zviri constitution zvikwavo. Ndataura zvinekuti kune vari kutaura zvavanotaura vachiti vanoita zvisiri pamutemo. Zviri pamutemo pachirungu it's absolutely constitutional to amend your constitution at any given time.
The Chikomba Ward 12 seat fell vacant after former Citizens Coalition for Change CCC councillor Ishmael Maokazuwa was incarcerated for having a sexual relationship with a minor, while Chikomba Ward 7 fell vacant following the death of ZANU-PF councillor Florence Mdzamiri. Rosemary Fortunate Chakwanda is the ruling party candidate for Chikomba Ward 7. Kenya's Chivuje, ZBC News, Chivu.
Now, it's always a pleasure to know where you are streaming live from. We are live on our Facebook page, ZBC News Online. Do tell us where you are watching from. Sunday edition of To Break. Don't go away.
The Zimbabwe Broadcasting Corporation Board, management and staff extend a warm welcome and heartfelt congratulations to Dr. Jemu Soda on his appointment as Minister of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services. This new chapter presents significant opportunities for further strengthening the media landscape and advancing growth and innovation within the sector. The partnership between the ministry and the national broadcaster remains central to supporting the country's communication and development objectives. Best wishes for a successful and fulfilling tenure as the nation navigates the dynamics and opportunities in the evolving realm of information and broadcasting. Once again, congratulations, Makorokoto Amhlope.
The Zimbabwe Tourism Authority is calling all operators of tourist facilities who have not registered or those with expired licenses and certificates to come forward and register their facilities in compliance with the provisions of Section 36 of the Tourism Act by 28 February 2026. The government of Zimbabwe, in its ongoing efforts to improve the ease of doing business, has significantly reduced license and registration fees across all categories, aiming to foster a more competitive environment within the tourism sector. Categories of the tourist facilities that must be registered with the Zimbabwe Tourism Authority include, but are not limited to, accommodation, including Airbnb Airbnb accommodation, restaurants, whether in hotel or otherwise, fast food restaurants, visitor attractions, visitor activities, and many more. From the 1st of March 2026, the Zimbabwe Tourism Authority, in conjunction with law enforcement agents, will be deployed to bring all unregistered facilities to book. For further information and assistance, please do not hesitate to contact us at the Zimbabwe Tourism Authority offices that are located across the country. Experience Zimbabwe. Zimbo.
Zimbabwe is on the move, building today for a stronger and more resilient tomorrow. The Ministry of Transport and Infrastructural Development will commission the Skyline Asphalt Plant in Harare, a strategic investment to strengthen national road construction and maintenance capacity. This is the first of several plans, with the next in Bulawayo, rolling out across all 10 provinces. The facility will produce asphalt concrete for pothole patching and road surfacing, enabling swift, efficient response to national roadworks. In-house production ensures quality and timeliness. Through infrastructure modernization, government is creating jobs, empowering communities, and advancing sustainable development aligned with Vision 2030. The Skyline Asphalt Plant marks a significant step towards a prosperous, connected, and industrialized Zimbabwe. In coming weeks, Ministry and Harare City Council teams will be in Waterfalls, Glenview, Budiriro, Highfield, and other suburbs, upgrading connectivity and improving traffic flow across the city. Ministry of Transport and Infrastructural Development, building Zimbabwe kilometer by kilometer.
You are still watching News at 8. Thank you for staying with us. Now, tourism players in Wange National Park, Matabeleland North Province are expanding facilities and introducing new facilities in response to a remarkable surge in tourism in the park within the recent years.
Increased tourism activity is signaling renewed momentum for Wange National Park's growing tourism sector. In response, players in one of Africa's largest national parks are adding new activities and constructing conference facilities to meet rising demand.
Yes, it is very true. We have a Gwango Heritage Resort who are building a conference room, which has the capacity to hold up to 250 people. And we also have the Gobelo farm, which is located right by Gwango, which offers farm tours to internationals, to locals, and also to students. Yes, there's been a little bit of increase in Wange tourism. This is why we're coming up with these facilities, the new conference room which are being built, the new lodges which are being built, and Wange, with the hope that as we go forward, we're going to have a lot of more tourists coming in.
So there's a big demand for people to get out to remote places and to engage with local cultures. And I think that this is a growing trend in tourism. So if we can tap into, or we can provide a facility where our tourists can not only see wildlife, but actually get to meet people in the community, get to engage with some of these incredible artisans that live here amongst us in this community. I think that additional attraction has got a massive benefit.
Wange National Park remains one of the major draw cards for tourism and is home to the Big Five. Tichaona Kurewa, ZBC News, Wange.
The Dewe community in Gokwe is practicing traditional methods of preserving nature, a move that has seen the sacred Dewe wetlands remain intact over the years. Now, this is in line with the Food Security, Climate Resilience and Environment Protection Cluster under the National Development Strategy 2 policy document.
It's a community living in harmony with nature. So this place, which is located some 30 kilometers northwest of Mtora Business Center, is an example of how nature can survive the destructive nature of humanity through observing and respecting of traditional norms. Since the place is largely a resettlement area, one would anticipate a massive cut down of vegetation as people seek land for agronomy practices. But the question on everyone's mind is, how has it survived such practices?
chatiri kuvavarira ndechekuchengetedza zviyera zviripo panzvimbo iyoyi kuburikidza zvatinonzwisa zvatiri kuwana kuti pasaendewa namagaba anenge akambogadzwa pamoto. Madzimai ari kunguva asawana achisvika panzvimbo iyoyi kurima magadheni pachishandiswa zvinhu zvinenge zvesimbi newaya. Toramba tichingokurudzira kuti izvozvo hazvisi kutenderwa kuti zvirambe zvichiitwa panzvimbo yedu yezviyera zvamatoro.
Takagara kudayo tiri kugona kuchengetedza nekuti umwe nomumwe ari kuziva kukosha kwenzvimbo ino, asi vamwe vedu vanouya vari vashandi vanouyawo vachitibatsirawo mabasa muno ndo vari kukanganisa nzvimbo. Saka vakambe vaisa vachiti toisa here murau wechiyera kuti anenge akanganisa ngaasangane nacho. Vanhu vakaonawo kuti zvakaoma.
Neclimate change yatodzidzisa zvinotibetseredzawo kuti munochengetedzwa mvura. Kana mvura yachengetedzwa inokwanisawo kusumuka ichiita kuti mvura tirambe tichiwana nguva nenguva.
Government, through EMA, has embarked on a number of programs aimed at preserving such wetlands.
We have your traditional leadership on site, you have your environmental monitors, you have environmental subcommittees that then report to the ward councillor. So I think these issues then we then sit down as stakeholders and then map a way forward.
So practices at this Dewe area are a constant reminder of how traditional norms and belief systems can come in handy in the preservation of wetlands for the benefit of biodiversity and the ecosystem. Tafara Chikumira, ZBC News, Gokwe.
The Chinhoyi Provincial Hospital has received major boost in its quest to improve health service delivery following the unveiling of essential vehicles for the institution.
An ambulance, a 25-seater bus and a truck to be used as a mobile clinic were unveiled at Chinhoyi Provincial Hospital, further confirming government's commitment to improving health service delivery.
The mobile clinic truck, and also the 29-seater truck, staff bus, which will be used to carry integrated outreach health programs in hard-to-reach communities within the province. We have a lot of hard-to-reach areas like Wanakariba, Siakovu. The ambulance for Chinhoyi Hospital will significantly improve access to healthcare services for patients in need of emergency services. This is in line with the President's mantra, you're going to leave no one and no place behind.
During the commissioning of the vehicles, the Mashonaland West Provincial Medical Director, Dr. Celestino Dege, gave a brief on how this mobile clinic truck operates and facilities it offers on board.
The mobile clinic houses almost a maternity unit. It has got an ultrasound scan, it has got a delivery bed, it has got an examination couch, which can also be used as a postnatal bed. There is a bassinet for the baby. So we can actually do deliveries even out in the bush with the mobile van. It has got a waiting area. It has got a television that can be used for educational purposes as well in there. It has got louder speakers that can be used for mobilizing and also educating people. And it has got also, we have a 25-seater minibus as well. So that one will be used to carry our staff.
Government continues to upgrade and equip hospitals across the country in a bid to ensure universal health coverage. In addition, the air ambulances facility has also come in handy to ensure timely emergency response.
Vungu Rural District Council has embraced the government's development agenda after procuring a grader vehicle and 25 motorbikes for councillors with the aim to improve service delivery in the district.
An upper middle income economy by the year 2030 is on course following the commissioning of a grader vehicle and 25 motorbikes for councillors through devolution funds and council generated funds. The development has been welcomed by the local community.
NDS2 takatasana chirongwa NDS2 is now more into action, service delivery to the people. Saka izinotaona tikona grader, tikona service vehicle nema motorcycles auya pana chicommission.
Grader redu nemota dzedu zichita service delivery mukufamba kwebasa rinodiwamo nehurumende yedu.
Vungu Rural District Council Chief Executive Officer Mr. Alex Magura said the equipment will help to improve service delivery and enhance the council's visibility in the community.
Gadzira kwataita mugwagwa tishandisa greda irori kunenge kuchitobatsirawo kusimudzira mabasa atinotarisirwa kuita neNDS2.
The government says it remains committed to improving service delivery, with local authorities being advised to prioritize life-changing programs.
This handover of 25 motorcycles to Vungu RDC councillors and commissioning of a grader and service vehicle, enhancing the capacity of councillors and local authorities to provide timely, affordable, accessible and quality services to our communities.
Baskora murgona arapa nemotikari negreda rekugadzira migwagwa yedu tozoti tiri mumwaka wemvura ichingopera vari kubva vatanga kuita basa ramakavatuma kuti vaite vekanzuru yevhungu.
The event marked a significant step forward in Vungu's development, reflecting the government's commitment to empowering local authorities and improving the quality of life for all citizens. Courage Ushes, ZBC News, Vungu.
Now, what many see as waste, a Rishavane-based communal farmer is transforming into valuable household accessories by recycling or packed beer containers. Again, Courage Boucher gives us that one in our This and That feature for tonight.
In many towns and villages, discarded beer containers are a common sight. But for Mazua-based communal farmer and entrepreneur Rabson Orogoda, the used bottles, popularly known as Chibatai Munu, have become raw materials for garden tables, sheds, boundary walls, and fowl runs. Orogoda's creative designs are attracting attention in the community. He says clean-up campaigns and environmental campaigns inspired him to see immense value in the discarded beer containers.
Ndakawana pane ma-empty masupa akawanda stereki. Saka zvakaninetsa kuti ange achipiswa mamwe anga achienda nemhepo. Saka zvakazoita nezvekuti ndakati ma-empty aya kushaya kuti oshandiswa chii here. Saka zvatangogara ndezvekuti ndangomatora ndikangomaronga ndikaona achibudisa kamwe ka-structure. Ndibva ndatoudza shamwari dzandane kuti shamwari imwe ipa panogona kuvakika chimwe chinhu apa. Vakati wakupenga iwo unenge wati akwa. Ndikati kwete. Saka from that day ndakabva ndatokumbira masaga ipapa. Ndikatakura ma-empty ndikauya nawo. Ndichibva ndatraya kuvaka ka-structure. Ndikaona kachibuda asi kasina unyatso kundinakira zvakanaka. Saka ndakaramba ndichingoimprove, chingodzidza ma-skills, chingodzidza kusvikira pa ndava iko zvino.
For neighbors and the community at large, Orogoda's innovation has transformed the look of their village and inspired others to embark on similar recycling projects.
Katinakira zvikuru kuti pane zvinhu zviviri zvatiri kutoona zviri kuitika kugadzira pamisha nenharaunda pamwe nekuunganidza zvemarara mamwe atingadai tichingoona akangorasika pesi vari kuashandisa marara iwayo. Saka izvi zvakatotinakira kuona kuti hai mumusha munenge muri kuchengetedzwa zvakanaka.
Akatibatsira taiziita zvirugu zvimwe zvaitambudza namakurugu zvakanyanya. Asi kupfurikidza neprojekti yakaitwa naRabson yakaita kuti tibudirire zvikuru nokuti iko zvino hatichambofigwi nehuku dzichirumwa namakurugu. Zvirugu zvedu zvogadzirwa naRabson hazvina makurugu anoitamo.
There is more to life than what an ordinary eye can see, and this entrepreneur has gone all the way to prove it. Courage Ushe, ZBC News, Swishavane.
Now, in sync with the Education 5.0 model, a Kwekwe Polytechnic College team has developed an electric-powered motorbike in pursuit of embracing the electric vehicle concept. Now, our Midlands Bureau Chief, Tafari Chukumira, unpacks our Science and Tech feature tonight.
It's Education 5.0 on the move. A team of engineering students at Kwekwe Polytechnic College is putting theory into practical after inventing an electrical powered motorbike as the electrical vehicle revolution takes the world by storm. The innovation, which is mostly using locally available resources, is a testimony that the electrical vehicle revolution is now within reach. The electric bike is powered by 2 rechargeable batteries, which can be powered on any electrical port and can also use solar, making it user-friendly.
Using these e-bikes, we're losing electricity, which means we're eliminating fossil fuels.
use of fossil fuels. So it also caters for those in rural areas as well as those local urban errands that you might need to do. That is maybe deliveries or any of that sort. So the e-bike, it basically is it's battery powered. Here's the compartment that we put our batteries in. It is powered by two 12-volt batteries, making it a 24-volt battery, right? So the batteries, they are connected to the hub, which is our drive motor, which is here at the back. So the hub is a capacity of 250 watt, which is actually catered for by these two batteries that we have. So our hub is connected to a throttle. This is our throttle. Once you turn on your bike, we have a display meter here which you actually turn on. As soon as you turn on the bike, if you push the throttle, usually the ones that we use for motorbikes and all of those stuff, your bike starts moving. So that's basically how our battery operates.
The inventors of the bike say their product has room for improvement following some exhibitions to showcase their product.
We've been to different exhibitions and people were talking about the issue of charging while it is moving. So that's also another concept we are actually looking at, as well as incorporating a plug-in charging system where you can just plug in your socket or any other outlet so that you start charging your batteries without removing them. Then also, barring the issue of weight and everything, you can also incorporate maybe a shed with solar panels on top that can also charge the battery.
They say necessity is the mother of invention. Such innovations, if perfected well, have the potential to put the country on the global map in electrical vehicle manufacturing. Tafara Chikumira, ZBC News, Kwekwe.
Veteran broadcaster John Masuku, who died on Friday last week, has been buried in Harare, with many describing him as a journalist who positively impacted people from all walks of life.
A church service was held earlier on where the Minister of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, Honorable James Soda, described the late Masuku as a pioneer.
He was a pioneer. He belonged to that first generation of black Zimbabwean broadcasters who stepped into the newsroom before our independence. At a time when the media landscape was being formed, he was there with a microphone in his hand and a steadfast commitment to telling the truth. His career spanning decades was not just defined by longevity, but by unwavering professionalism and integrity.
The CEO, Mr. Sugar Chagonda, also spoke glowingly about the late veteran journalist, describing him as a unifying figure in the media industry.
Nemhuri yekwamasuku nekurasikirwa kwataita nerimwe gama remagamba panyaya yekutora nhau, panyaya yekutepenyura zvikuru sei paredhiyo. Chinonyanya kutibata ndechekuti mukoma John vanga vari munhu aida zvikuru sei kudzidzisa vechidiki kuti basa rinoitwa sei, nekuti munhu aiziva kuti uye unotora nhau uchizivisa nyika yose nekunze kwenyika kuti zvinhu zviri kufamba sei, zvinoda kuitwa neunhu yatinoti responsible broadcasting. Vazhinji vedu mazuvano, zvikuru sei ndakatarisana nevamwe vedu vanotora nhau, tino pamwe patinorasika, nekuti journalism inofanira kubatanidza vanhu, inofanira kuonesa kuti tiri kutaura zvemabudiriro enyika, tiri kutaura zvinhu zvakawanda zvinenge zvichiitika nemazvo, asi nekuda kwezvimwe zvinhu tinopedzisira taakurasika. Saka challenge yatasara nayo ndeyekuti tinofanira kudzidza mune mabasa aiitwa naJohn Masuku.
It was indeed a befitting send-off for the late veteran broadcaster as hundreds of people gathered at Glen Forest Cemetery in Harare. And indeed, there was an outpouring of grief from family members, members of the Anglican Church and the former colleagues of the late Mr. Masuku. And some of them said that their careers were shaped by him. His eldest son, Mandla, described him as a pillar of strength who groomed him well.
My dad, John Masuku, was a great man. He loved his family. He loved God, most importantly. So we've been left with a very big void in the family. We're going to miss him so much.
He's been a pillar of strength. He's been a visionary. He's inspired the family. He inspired his children, his nieces, his nephews, the nation really at large. He's been someone who's innovative and agile. He's always been transformative, and losing him has been very difficult.
I am truly going to miss my grandfather. He was the best man on this earth. He told me so many things, but the most important thing he told me was just the small conversations really matter. You don't need to be someone big. You don't need to do anything too fancy to impress anyone.
Leading media professionals also came in their numbers to pay their last respects, describing the late Masuku as a legend in broadcasting.
It was about 30 years ago when Mr. John Masuku discovered me, and I had no idea of the impact that my meeting him was going to have in my life. The trajectory of my life completely changed.
He was my lecturer in the broadcasting division, radio in particular. I fell in love with his teachings the first time that he introduced himself to me, because he had his own way of making you see things differently.
John was so approachable. John had that archive of what is happening. He had the pulse of the broadcasting industry.
He was also described as a man whose character was built on strong Christian beliefs.
Taibatanawo zvakanaka. Aiwa munhu anga ine rudo. He was a humble person. Aibatsira vanhu zvakanaka. Even muchechi taishanda naye zvakanaka. Aibata mapato akasiyana-siyana muchechi. His burial was graced by cabinet ministers in energy and power development, Minister Honorable July Moyo, and Environment and Climate Change, Minister Honorable Evelyn. At the end of the funeral, there were heavy downpours of rain here. And in African culture, it is said that this is quite symbolic. And indeed, for the late Mr. Masuku, he is someone who has departed this earth, but has left a lasting legacy. And many have regarded him as the doyen of journalism. Owen Mandova, ZBC News, Harare.
Many thanks to Owen Mandova there for that report. Indeed, John Masuku will forever remembered in the media fraternity. Taking us to a break, don't go away.
Great Zimbabwe University is excited to announce that applications are now open for the March 2026 intake. In addition to previously advertised programs, GZU is introducing a range of new degrees designed to meet today's evolving industry demands. New undergraduate programs include agricultural economics, environmental health, applied GIS and earth observation, climate science, design and technology. Postgraduate level, new offerings include public management and governance, wildlife law and policy, data science, agronomy. Apply online at www.gzu.ac.zw or visit the admissions office at the main campus or the GZU Harare office at Zimdev House. Application fees are $10 for undergraduate and $20 for postgraduate programs. Closing date is Friday, 27 February 2026. Great Zimbabwe University. More programs, more opportunities.
Welcome back. In Sunbay's government, through the Ministry of Industry and Commerce, has put in place strategies to ensure an inclusive economic growth approach building on the successes of NDS1.
Development NDS1 was anchored on 14 strategic pillars which drove Zimbabwe's economic transformation. Under NDS1, the Ministry of Industry and Commerce registered successes in driving the government's industrialization agenda. In an interview with ZBC News, the Minister of Industry and Commerce, Honorable Mangaliso Ndlovu, said NDS2 can be achieved through building on the successes of NDS1.
Under the first industrial development policy, we had set a number of targets. For instance, we looked at both the commercial sector and the manufacturing sector. And we said under the manufacturing sector, at the time of the launch in 2019, was valued around 2.8, 2.9 billion US dollars. Our target was to grow the manufacturing sector to 5 billion. And I'm happy to say that our valuation of the manufacturing sector at the terminal evaluation of the policy, we had reached 6.5, which had far exceeded our initial targets.
As such, the minister outlined the strategies government has put in place to achieve this agenda.
As the economy is growing, this has to be felt by everyone. It has to be inclusive. Economic empowerment now becomes quite central. There are many areas where we far exceeded the targets that we had set under NDS1. And going into NDS2, we are increasing our ambition. We believe that our performance from the manufacturing side, from the commercial sector side, we should be able to do a lot more than we had initially projected.
NDS2, the country's economic blueprint, which will run from 2026 to 2030, builds on the stabilization measures introduced under the Transitional Stabilization Program and advances the structural transformation agenda pursued through National Development Strategy 1. Panashe Nagoli, ZBC News, Harare.
And I'll find out what is buzzing in sport after these messages. Stay with us.
Fire Net One. Every $10 recharge brings you closer to amazing prizes, including smart TVs, cell phones, and the grand prize solar kit. See Net One online platforms for details.
Feel the fun. Enjoy. See Ajabula. Enjoy.
Terms and conditions apply. Net One, the world in one.
Zim Digital set-top boxes, decoders with all the 7 local television channels and 6 national radio stations are now available for sale. The decoder will give viewers access to ZBC Jive TV, ZBC News, ZBC TV, ZTN Prime, PK TV, Kiona TV, NRTV. No subscription is needed as all the channels are free to view. For $25 or the Zig equivalent, the decoder comes with a cable plus indoor and outdoor antenna. The decoders are available at the Broadcasting Authority of Zimbabwe, BAZ, Transmedia, and all the TV broadcasters.
Welcome back in a sports buzz. Zimbabwe Chevrons are now in Kandy ahead of Tuesday's decisive Group B clash against Ireland at the ICC T20 Men's World Cup. Lawrence Tracida reports.
Zimbabwe began their campaign in Colombo with a convincing victory over Oman before sending shockwaves in the tournament by defeating pre-tournament favourites Australia in their second match. Those back-to-back wins have placed the Chevrons firmly in control of their destiny. A victory against Ireland will guarantee procession into the Super 8, regardless of other results in the group. Having shifted base to Candy, preparations have focused on maintaining the intensity that has underpinned their impressive start. With confidence growing and history within reach, Zimbabwe know that the task is clear. One more strong performance to keep their World Cup dream alive. Lawrence Trosira, ZBC News, Harare.
Highlanders edged Dynamos 1-0 to lift the Gyros Jury Cup in a match played at Barberfields Stadium this Sunday.
The full-time whistle signaled celebration time for the Highlanders technical team led by Benjamin Warwari. Flanked by renowned goal-scoring machine Zenzo Moenao, team manager and assistant coach Mkokeri Dube, the match promised to end the long wait for success for the Bulawayo Giants, who have gone for foreigners in the past but failed to unlock the championship jinx. Perhaps the victory is a signal that local is legal, but only time will tell. It was a charity match to raise proceeds for the underprivileged at Gyros Jiri, but also a yardstick for the two coaches Mwarwari and returning Dynamos coach Genesis Mangombe to gauge progress for their respective sides ahead of the 2026 season. Despite the chilly weather, fans came out in their numbers, something synonymous with the Battle of Zimbabwe. With both sides on a rebuilding exercise, the 50th minute solitary strike by Benjamin Adogan was the only difference separating the two teams. Wisdom Mutasa nearly leveled matters with his effort crashing against the woodwork. The match was also a launchpad for forgotten midfielder Kudakwashe Mahachi to rekindle his yesterday's spark. After the victory, Mwarwari has surely signed a contract of allegiance with the hard-to-please Highlanders fans who appear thirsty not only for the championship but for silverware. The two coaches gave their reflections on the game.
Highlanders, even for Dynamos, but I think it came on a wrong time when we were preparing for the new season to come. So it was my first game though, but I knew that I need to prepare the team. I told them, my boss, that this game they need to take it as if we are in pre-season. I know if I didn't do that, they will have the pressure. But I told them that never mind about the fans. We know we've got the best fans ever. You do everything, they will support you.
Yeah, it's a game of football, and we are still trying some combinations and see how best we can make the best out of the players we have. But I'm happy with the resistance and the way we are trying to build from the back.
Proceeds from the game were channeled to the Gyros Jiri Association. The two teams will meet again exactly in a month when they clash in the league. Mtokozi Story, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
The ZIFA Central Region Soccer League has launched a new USD 16,000 GMI Dream in Super 8 Cup tournament in Shishawane.
The winds of change are sweeping through the Central Region Soccer League, and they carry with them the promise of transformation thanks to a landmark partnership with corporate giants Gold Metals Investment, GMI and Dream In. Representing Gold Metals Investment and Dream In, Hard Rock FC chairperson Wellington Mpandare underscored the broader significance of the partnership in the context of the national football agenda.
Mr. Shoko and his team approached us, and then we sat down and said, okay, we'll still sponsor the tournament this season. And we said, no, let's support them. Let's sponsor now that we're not part of Central Region. There's no conflict of interest anymore.
ZIFA Central Region chairperson Patrick Hughes said the partnership will go a long way in improving player development.
Very much pleased and happy that we have managed to source a sponsorship because it has come at the right time. And I think, as we have mentioned, we see the clubs, they are also appreciating the sponsorship. So I think I'm very much happy about the sponsorship because we have gone for a long time without any sponsor for the region.
With the ink now dry on the sponsorship deal, the Central Region stands on the cusp of a new era, one that promises growth, professionalism, and a renewed sense of purpose for clubs and communities across the region. Karejushe, ZBC News, Swishawane.
Zimbabwean wheelchair racer Moline Musa is up that she will complete the 42-kilometer Authentic Chair Challenge within the stipulated timelines. The Zimbabwean racer, alongside other 11 local racers, will participate at the Authentic Chair Challenge set for the 21st of February in South Africa.
44-year-old Moline Musa, alongside 11 other Zimbabwean wheelchair racers, will represent Zimbabwe in the Otanikwa Chair Challenge, which begins in the Eastern Cape on the 21st of February. The Bulawayo-based racer, who is making it for the first time in the 42-kilometer race, having spent the better part of her career specializing in the 21-kilometer race, is in high spirits. She will complete the challenge within the expected finishing times.
This is my first time to competition. Doya ni makore ichimanywa. Ini ndaingoishuvira kuti dei ndambosvika ndanomhanya kugeorge. This year ndirikwanisa kuti ndiinde kunoimhanya kugeorge. Apa ndichanomhanya 42 kilometers. I usually run 21 kilometers, 10 kilometers, 21 kilometers, but this time around I want to run 42 kilometers. Varume chete ndo vanongonzi vanomhanya 42 kilometers because they are strong. I myself am also strong.
By Samson Moroyo, Muyaradz Katio, Margaret Banga Jena, Moline Majoni, Ratizo Tom, Previous Wiri, God knows Ziripi, Elford Jongwe, Moline Ali, and Tandy Wendlove in a competition which also helps to assist both Zimbabwean and South African athletes nurture their talent and restore self-esteem. Wheelchair and hand cycling is an emerging sport which has remained in the shadows owing to a lack of corporate support. Mtokozi Stube, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
Well, that's a cap in sports buzz taking us to the way of the weather. Up next.
Greetings and welcome. Time to check your weather details. I'm Benjamin Kwaramba. Rainfall activity in some parts of the country. West Nicholson with 170 millimeters, followed by Zaka with 137, Masvingo with 89, Zwishavane with 55 millimeters as at 8 o'clock this morning. Meanwhile, moisture continues to be drawn from the north and the west. Scattered thunderstorms, particularly over areas to the north of the country. Satellite images showing cloud across the country there. And as we move into the forecast period, we expect cloud, particularly over areas along and to the north of the main watershed, where we expect some scattered thunderstorms from time to time. Minimum temperatures for the main city centers: Harare 12 degrees Celsius, for Bulawayo with 14 there, Gwanda 14 as well, Chirezi 18, Mutare 14, 21 is expected at Kariba, Victoria Falls with 19. Maximum temperatures, the capital city, Harare 21, Bulawayo 24, Chirezi 25, Mutare 20, 27 at Kariba, and Victoria Falls with 22, Lupan 23, Gokwe with 21. It should be mild and warm for Bulawayo. Matopos again scattered, not exactly scattered, but windy conditions expected. That is tomorrow. Same for Gwanda. It should be partly cloudy and warm in the afternoon. Gweru, partly cloudy. It should be warm in the afternoon. Masvingo expect some partly cloudy conditions, mild at first, becoming warm later. Mutare, partly cloudy conditions expected. Rainfall expected on Thursday. Nyanga, partly cloudy and warm in the afternoon. Marondera, again partly cloudy. It should be rainfall activities expected on Thursday. Harare, partly cloudy and warm with scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon. Kadoma, expect some partly cloudy conditions. It should be mild to warm in the afternoon. Same for Chinhoyi. Rainfall activity expected on Wednesday. Victoria Falls, scattered thunderstorms expected on Monday and Wednesday. Lupane, it should be partly cloudy and warm in the afternoon. Bindura, expect some partly cloudy conditions. It should be mild to warm. Kariba, scattered thunderstorms expected tomorrow, and it should be warm in the afternoon. Well, that does it in tonight's edition of the Weather Report and Focus. Let's make it late again tomorrow at the same time. It is back to the main desk.
Well, that's a wrap on the Sunday edition. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. From myself, Liam Bernard, Yvonne Mukundani, as well as Noble Maunga. Pleasant viewing. Good night.
Good night.